Big thank you to Michael Hunter, who has joined us over on the Patreon and become a member of the main event tier. If you're interested in also supporting the channel, check out the link in the description and you could be a member of Patreon and support the channel in future videos. Thanks a lot to Michael Hunter once again, and let's get straight into today's episode. Welcome back to Spike Power-Driver Wrestling. This is the local to global save here on Total Extreme Wrestling 9. My name is Anders, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you get subscribed. If you aren't new but you aren't subscribed, also subscribe. Like the video, share it with your friends, check out all of the links in the description as well. There's a Patreon page over there if you're interested in supporting the channel in that way. Welcome back. It's episode 30-something of Local to Global, October of 1997, and a massive thing has happened between episodes. We've won a bidding war against WCW and signed someone to a written contract per month rather than per show. It's not as massive as it seems. Well, it kind of is, but we'll cover that after we go through our first bank of TV tapings for Unleashed. So, before we get into things, we'll do a nice little recap. We have got a World Heavyweight Champion who is Mark Merrow. He's been champion now since September, so just over a full month. Our tag team champions are Samu and Kakina Maximus of the Throne of Savagery. They're called the Colossal Tribe. It's basically Yokozuna and Samu from the Samoan SWAT team. But yeah, they are our current tag team champions. Again, they've been holding the titles for just 2 weeks now. They defeated the makeshift team of Perry Saturn and Andre the Giant. Yes, he is still alive. Who were champions for best part of 2 months or 2.5 months. So they're now our new tag team champions. They're in a stable with Haku, who is the leader. They've also got a manager in Sherry Martel, just to give you a bit of extra context. Yo, monkey boy, listen up. If you ain't all jacked up, then hit the bricks and subscribe to some other loser. But if you are jacked and you are ready to let someone feel the bang, then subscribe to me. It's not like there's a choice anyway. I didn't mention who Mark Merrow defeated. He defeated Rob Van Dam for the world title, who has subsequently turned heel. Anyway, our TV champion is still Marcus Bagwell. He's held the title now since June, so 131 days into his reign, 4 months. Had 9 successful defences, and he's just ticking along nicely as our TV champion. Obviously, our TV championship, if you are familiar with the series, has had a whole host of excellent champions in the past. Rivals the world title, in fact, for strength of previous champions. Our Junior Heavyweight Championship is our weaker of the singles title. That is now held by Angel Azteca, who defeated Jeff Hardy in a 3-way, including Taka Michinoku. Jeff was not particularly happy of dropping the title, even though he wasn't pinned. But we're trying to build up our junior division, essentially, to try and get it to a better level. But Angel Azteca has been putting in some great performances on the undercard, so we're giving him a little bit of a run with the title. He's only held the title now for 6 days, obviously, because that was the previous Sunday in game. And then what they're going to be the focus of this episode, at least to the start of the episode, is the King of Combat, which is a battle royal held at the King of Combat event, which is at the beginning of November. The winner gets a title shot whenever they like. They just have to cash it in. It's not like a Money in the Bank that they have to declare in advance. But previous winners include Dean Malenko twice, RVD, and Terry Funk, as well as Rocky King, who did not win the title after winning the King of Combat. The other 3 all did win the title at various points throughout history. Right, that's the little bit of the overview of our championship situation. We've got Unleashed, which is our 90-minute TV show. We're taping 2 tonight, 2 in a fortnight, and then we'll have King of Combat as our pay-per-view. And in between, we're going to do a couple of touring shows in Mexico as well, which we won't be showing on camera, but that is in an effort to increase our size. And speaking of our size, this is how we look currently in the US, 70 in the southeast. Everywhere else across the country is increasing its popularity tenfold. Canada is also getting up there nicely as well now, 48 in Alberta. Everyone else is coming up slowly. Mexico, which is where we're trying to focus on next building project, has got 20 in 2 regions. We need to get that up to, I think, 35 or 40 in order to get a good broadcasting deal. We've got a good broadcasting deal now in the British Isles and Europe, mainly thanks to getting our Midlands popularity up. Our Northern England one was already up there, and now we're being broadcast on Eurosport in both British Isles and Europe here, which is slowly ticking up as well. Nowhere in Japan yet, or Australia, New Zealand, or India, or anything like that. Right, let's go straight into Unleashed, and then we'll have a look at who this guy is here, Goliath. We'll do that after we've gone through the first 2 episodes of Unleashed for the month. So let's just go straight into it. And we start the show at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum with Marc Mero. He thanks the fans for their support at Collision Course, where he successfully defended the world title against all odds in a four-way match, including Raven, RVD, and Tatsumi Fujinami, of all people. The Marvelous era is continuing tonight as he looks forward to who will emerge from the King of Combat as his next challenger. Struggled a little bit growing off script, but still got an 83 for his start of the show promo, and that got the crowd well into things as we kick the show off. We brought it down a little bit with our junior heavyweight title defense as Angel Azteca defeated El Hijo del Solitario with a Hurricane Rana. Made his first defense of the junior title. He put in a 52 for his in-ring performance, got us to a 53 rating overall. Still keeps the crowd nice and hot. Obviously, our product focuses quite heavily. In fact, we'll go onto the product page after the show as well, because there's been a few questions about our product in a few comments, but it focuses quite heavily on the main event, so we don't need to really worry about the undercard as long as it doesn't tank the show completely. We then get a Jeff Hardy promo. He's the former junior champion. He's truly annoyed at losing the junior title despite not actually being beaten. He'll be back looking for that title at some point, but he's okay with it as he has an opportunity tonight to get a shot at the world title by winning the King of Combat. So we've got qualifying matches. That's basically going to be the theme across the next four shows, qualifying for the 10-man Battle Royal. Jeff Hardy's involved in one of the matches later on tonight. He gets the 51 for his promo. Not too bad actually at all. We then get Perry Saturn in a first qualifying match, defeating Butch Miller with the Death Valley driver. Miller was off his game slightly. Saturn still up there, not quite at the top tier, but a 59 in-ring performance is quite solid. Gets a 60 rating for the match. Obviously, that's not going to be enough to increase our popularity in the Southeast if that's the best match of the night, but hopefully it won't be. We move on as the Colossal Tribe make their second defense of the World Tag Team titles. They defeated the Southern Rockers, which is Rex King and Steve Doll. I think that's well done in the WWF. But Samu with the best performance. Kokina's getting his popularity up, so his in-ring performance will gradually tick up towards Samu's. When we had our show in Mexico, obviously he's really over in Mexico. He's got great popularity in Mexico. So his in-ring performance was even better there, kind of at the same level as Samu's as well. But they're solid tag team champions. Sherry did some good work at ringside as well and gave the match a little bit of a boost. 65 for the segment rating is a good way to carry on moving the show forward. And then we have a promo with the whole group as Haku and Sherry join the tag champions in the ring after their successful defense. Sherry thinks that the King of Combat is the perfect place for Haku to reach his destiny and be crowned as the world champion. Haku then tells Marc Mero that the clock is ticking on his title reign. He doesn't need to worry about who will win the King of Combat. He needs to worry about Haku. Haku struggled a little bit when going off script, trying to improvise his dialogue, but all in all, a pretty solid 57 for the Throne of Savagery in their promo. Sherry holding things together as the other guys are actually quite charismatic and are pretty decent promos. I think we've had Samu got a promo in the past as well, which wasn't too bad either. But 57 is not too bad. Obviously, we want Haku to get a little bit more over and a bit more popularity as we go towards a match which we are clearly building of Mero against Haku, not Meru against Hako. That's two incredibly different people. The Kid then qualifies for the King of Combat with a super kick victory over the Patriot. Nice solid mid-card, not really much happening here. 59. The matches aren't blowing us out of the water today. Hopefully that will improve. The best damn wrestler, Rob Van Dam, is ready to crown himself as the new King of Combat. I think I must have had a little bit of a fumble with my words there. Anyway, he's been screwed out of the world title, and winning this Battle Royal will give him the title shot on his own terms. He qualifies tonight and then just needs to outlast 9 other men, which is easy when you're Rob Van Dam. Promo gets a 74, nicely done, and then the match is a cracker against Rob Van Dam against Jeff Hardy in the main event. Gets an 80. Van Daminator puts Jeff Hardy away. Van Dam with his 79 in ring performance. Jeff with a 56 is sufficient enough as the dance partner in the main event. Gets an 80 overall, and that gives us a great show rating of 74. We've increased popularity in 30 regions, not in the southeast, and clearly not in the north of England either, because our coverage of Eurosport is restricting any growth there. But that's fine, because it's at 55. And when we get the rest of the regions up, we'll move on to a bigger broadcaster. But we're at a sufficient level in the UK where it doesn't really matter. Let's move on to our second taping. Sable and the Patriot butting heads. Raven has been influencing Juventud Guerrera. And that's it. Basically, not much to worry about from the locker room. Right, obviously we're on A&E, Eurosport and Headline Sports in Canada as our 3 broadcast networks for the show. Right, we'll put the second episode in. We've already got all of the next 2 episodes pre-booked as well, so we will try and remember how we are booking this show. Who's that one? That's Haku. That one's the main event one, I think. Yes, there we go. So we will... I think we're going to start the show again with a Mero promo, so we'll do that one after we remember what other... I think that's... yeah, so we'll do Raven's match here, the Raven Rules promo there as well. And then what have we got going on? We want a Samu and Andre match. That one's Terry Funk and Van Hammer, so we'll go with that match next. Terry Funk promo, and then we'll have Taka and Ultimo Guerrero as our opener, with Mark Mero's promo starting the show as well. That should hopefully get us to 92 minutes. Booking analysis, have we made sure we're okay? Right, let's go in. I think we've got that in the right order of how we were booking things. So just go straight into episode number 2 of the night, episode 138 overall, 6,332 in attendance at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum, and Mero starts the show and improvised well this time. He once again starts the show. Thanks Haku for laying down the challenge last week, and he's happy to take him on one-on-one for the world title. Haku is a big, dangerous man who Mero's watched from afar for years, but he thinks he's more than up for the challenge. Gets an 88 for his promo, which is very good. Great way to start the show. Move forward to the next match, which doesn't bring us down too much, but does bring us down a little bit. As Taka defeats Ultimo Guerrero with Michinoku Driver, gets a 44 rating for the match. Obviously, Ultimo is very much on the undercard. Taka, we're trying to build up more into the midcard now as well. Obviously, he lost in the junior title match, but we are building him and Angeles Taka up as well. He's probably going to be a 2-time junior champion before too long. I forgot that Ultimo Guerrero can't handle the match being called in the ring. We then go to Terry Funk still training Van Hammer at his ranch. This is pre-taped, obviously. He tells Hammer to get ready for his qualifier for the King of Combat. Hammer needs to get a victory, but he will have to beat the Master in the Battle Royal, as Funk will see him there. I think we're going to have a qualifying match in the future as well. Van Hammer struggled without script, even when it was pre-taped. Funk came across well, got a 60. Still trying to build Van Hammer up a little bit. Because they've got chemistry, we're just keeping them together. This didn't really work, did it? They don't have chemistry, Van Hammer and Brian Lawler, and neither man put in a great in-ring performance, and it only got a 49. So, subpar is fair. But Van Hammer gets the victory. He's qualified himself for the King of Combat. Not really doing much with the Lawlers at the moment. They've kind of just fallen away into the background. Both of them, both Brian and Jerry. But we'll see. Andre the Giant then gets a good victory over Samu, but the match suffered a little bit because nobody was selling. So, of course, Andre wasn't selling, and Samu's one of a big heel group, so he's not going to sell much either. He does lose, though. Andre the Giant gets a victory with a double underhook suplex, somehow still managed to pull moves off at his age. 64 for the match is surprisingly good. Samu dragged, obviously, the in-ring performance up a little bit. Andre didn't quite have it in him to get on par with him, but still a decent match. We then have Raven cutting a fantastic promo. The promos on this show have been great so far. Raven's been in many King of Combat matches before. He's also been world champion on the receiving end of the title matches for the winners before. This time around, Raven will rule the kingdom as he eliminates the other 9 men and regains the world title once again. Gets a 92. Masterful job from Mr. Levy. And we move into his match against Matt Hardy, which struggles a little bit because they don't have any chemistry. Matt drags his performance down to a 38. Raven only getting a 64. This is disappointing. Raven would, without that chemistry penalty, probably be in the 70s. Matt should be in the 40s as well. So we should have got a probably high 60s, low 70s match rating without that bad chemistry note. It's really hampered us a little bit there. But anyway, 63. Raven gets the victory. He qualifies. I'm not sure if you're keeping track with who's qualified for the King of Combat, but don't worry, there'll be 10 of them in total at the end. And we're probably going to have some sort of big match as well. Mark Mero and then faces Steven Regal in the main event. He makes his 4th defense of the world title, and Regal puts in a cracking good job at 66 despite his limited popularity. Mero with a 75. Match gets an 81, which is the best one across the 2 tapings, and is the perfect way to end the in-ring section of the night. Great main event, 81. Mero with a strong defense. Regal, if that's all he's good for, is being the job guy to the main eventers and putting on a massive performance in the main event, then that's fine. We'll give him some victories on the undercard. Try and beat him up, keep him up a little bit. Mero's victorious, but Haku doesn't let him celebrate as he swarms the ring and attacks the champion. He lays him out and stands over him with a world title raised high above his head. Gets a 58. Now, Haku is obviously a slightly weaker challenger in terms of popularity compared to some of the other people, but we're trying to fill up the Battle Royal with some top-heavy guys. So he is a good second-tier defense. I don't want to say that too bad in case he kicks my ass. But that's kind of the situation we're in. He's not going to be... It's unlikely he's going to beat Mero, let's be fair. But this is for a month-long feud. Why not? Let's do it. Haku gets the big beat down. Ends the show standing tall. 58. 78 overall for the match rate. For the show rating is good as well. We get 31 regions with increased, which is good. So that means the Southeast has got a little bit of a bump as well. Couple of great promos. Great match for the main event. Excellent stuff. Finance-wise, made a load of money on the show, as you'd expect. 271,000. 185k, 186k, sorry, on the broadcast revenue. Popularity recap, yep, up in everywhere, essentially. 8s across the board in Europe now, up to 71 in the Southeast, 38 in the Midlands, 49 in Alberta. You can see all the other ones as well on screen. You don't need me to go through them all individually, but you can see definitely everywhere, except Northern England, which is just too big now compared to what we can get coverage on. From Eurosport, we're going to have to get the rest of the regions up around it before we can get a better broadcasting deal. Right, that is excellent. And now, the big surprise. Not really a surprise. Goliath with a giant gimmick. You could probably guess who it is, if you haven't already. But we will show you who we have won in a bidding war against WCW. Obviously, if you are thinking who it is, if you are correct, they're not that over just yet. Their popularity isn't there just yet, which is why we managed to win the bidding war, essentially. But we'll show you the contract. We'll show you who they are. They're called Goliath, so that might give it away. But let's have a look. Let's have a look. Goliath is Paul White, the Big Show, the Giant, whatever you want to call him. He's coming very soon. We've won a contract battle. He starts on the 5th of November. And he's got a 3-year contract. He's going to be here until November 2000. He will be joining us for $6,000 per month, which is slightly overpaying what he should cost us. I think he should cost $4,700. There you go. But we've locked him in, and I think the fact he's a 7-foot monster suggests we probably can do something quite well with him. Popularity-wise, he's not there yet. 22s across the board in the US, but we will increase that naturally. And we've also got the inbuilt feud against Andre, who is, so that's me. That guy there in the middle. He's his father, so we'll have some sort of passing of the torch because he's going to come in as a heel. He's going to kick Andre's ass at some point, but we're going to build him up and make him our future star because we're paying him every month. So why not? Let's use him. Right, let's go from here to our next TV taping in 13 days and continue on the road to King of Combat. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the first TV taping and what you want to see going forward, and we will attempt to accommodate you. Keep staying tuned. Okay then, before we start the next bank of tapings, I wanted to address something that was asked in the comments on a video probably a while ago now, but we might as well cover it because I've just got something that I wanted to show you. So when we signed the Dirty White Boys tag team, Denton and Anthony, it was asked whether I was going to bring in Tony Anthony's wife, Kim, to be their manager. And I hadn't yet, and I was kind of holding off to see whether I was going to use them much. But I'm definitely not now, because she's just cheated on him with Billy Gunn, and they're now divorced. So there you go. I won't be bringing in Kimberly Walser as their manager. So there, that vindicates my decision not to bring her in yet, because she's just cheated on him with Billy Gunn. Okay, right. Episode 139 of Unleashed. Just thought that was a bit of, flavour to the save game. We'll share it. We'll get into episode 139. Slightly shorter in terms of matches, because the matches themselves are longer. But we start the show with the full throne of savagery taunting Mark Mero. Haku terrible without a script. The dialogue was a bit of a mess, never mind. Everyone else did okay. Sherry was fantastic. That's why we brought her in as manager. Mero is being taunted. Sherry and Haku both tell Mero that his reign is nearly up and it's time for a real king, a real chief to take the title. Samu and Kakina also state that everyone else is busy with this little battle royal, so Mero's got no friends left to back him up. Now, 53 is a slightly slower start to the show than we kind of hoped, but we're pushing through, getting this TEW bloodline, trying to get them over. See if we can build up a good challenge for Mero for the throne. For the throne of savagery at King Combat. Lots of royal imagery going on. 53 though is okay, not too bad. First match, a little bit disappointing actually, and this is, I'm not sure why this is. I think Taka's momentum's fallen off a little bit. But a four-way match in the junior division. Flamante Turbo defeats Funaki, Guerrera, and Taka in the four-way. Funaki getting pinned by Turbo. Hoovy was the weak link again, 28. Taka puts in a great performance. Turbo's put in a good performance. Crowd turned off a little bit. 38, not great, but we'll move on. We'll try and keep going. Christian Cage is back and out. He's been living in the shadow of other men for far too long. Tonight he steps out on his own, into his own light, and he earns his place in the King of Combat. Joey Maggs doesn't stand a chance tonight, and he's going to show that there's rage in this cage, which is a terrible, terrible catchphrase that I'm not going to use ever again. Now I've seen it written down and said it. That didn't land very well with me, let alone with you. Anyway, he's still a heel, so let's not try and get behind that. Improvised well, though. Good charisma, good promo work from Christian. You'd probably expect. 52, though. Crowd's still simmering a little bit. I want to get that a little bit higher. He then does follow through with his promise and beats Joey Maggs with the Impaler and gets the victory in 12 minutes. Successful creative finish as well. Helps give a little boost to the match. Gets a 57 overall. We just need Christian's in-ring to keep developing. And he'll soon be a world champion with us in the next few years, I'm sure, if we keep developing him as we are doing. 57 though, and we do miss Edge. If he hadn't buggered off to WCW, they'd probably still be tag team champions and we wouldn't have the throne of savagery. But anyway, 57 for Christian's victory. We move on, and Raven brings us back up and shows us how to cut a promo. He gives his opinion on everyone making their claims for winning the King of Combat. He claims that it's cute that everyone is choosing now to be the time to step up. Raven has been at this level for years, and he knows that just a few simple mind games will be enough to knock all the pretenders back down and leave him with a clear path to winning the Battle Royal. And then the world title gets an 88. Masterful job of improvising once again, and that builds us nicely into a Funk Lawler battle where Funk wins after a pile driver. Probably would have gone back and forth with various attempts at pile drivers, but it's Funk who gets the job done and qualifies for the Battle Royal. As mentioned, the Lawlers are kinda just there at the moment, which is, you know, it is what it is. Jerry's definitely past his best. It is towards the end of 97 now, so in the real world he was firmly entrenched behind the commentary table. Funk, though, is still funking on. 71, great match. Great actual match there, and builds us into the main event as Mark Mero tells Haku and his tribe that he's found himself some backup, and it's a tag team that deserves a title shot against Samu and Kakina. Mero brings in Matt and Jeff Hardy as his backup, and the three men are ready to go to war with the throne tonight. Mero looked good, improvised well, the angle idea was a success. Jeff Hardy struggled, performed poorly, very poor with his trying to improvise his dialogue. Mero actually struggled a little bit when going off script as well. Matt Hardy was also there. 65, not as good as some of Mero's previous work, but with the introduction of the Hardys into the promo, then that's not surprising. Hopefully the main event goes well. It does. I was a little bit worried, but in ring the Hardys are good and bring the business. Kakina's getting over as well. Samu and Haku both solid in the ring. In fact, Samu's more than solid. I'm underrating Samu there. He's very good. 75 though, as the Throne of Savagery get the victory. Kakina hits a Savat kick to flatten Matt Hardy. Probably would have sat on him at some point as well. And the Hardys are getting a little bit stale. I'm going to have to tweak their gimmick a little bit. But 75 for the main event is more than good enough for me. Yeah, it's a 66 overall. Obviously, not quite as good as... I say the 75 was good enough for me. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't. I would have thought, though, with a 75 for the main event, a 71 as the co-main event, and an 88 angle, this would have been a better rating. But clearly not. Lost its popularity in 2 regions. Gained us in 27. Used Yokozuna too much. Anyway, well, that's fine. It's fine. That's not going to be a... We're going to lose popularity in some shows in the Southeast because it's going to be impossible to keep getting in the mid to high 70s every single week, so don't worry about it. No locker room incidents to note, and we're going to go for the go-home show now as we book towards the King of Combat. And we're going to end it with a massive brawl, obviously. There's a Battle Royal coming up. Why wouldn't we have a massive brawl? Shall we have the 8-man tag team match as the main event? That's potentially dangerous. But maybe we shall. We're gonna have Fujinami and Yokozuna as our main event. Shall we? Oh, I don't know. This is dangerous because do we go with the Star Heavy match? Yeah, we go with the Star Heavy match. We do it. We go with the Star Heavy match there. We'll then have Fujinami and Kazana in the co-main event with Yokozuna asking who on earth Fujinami is because he's ignorant, apparently. Marcus Bagwell and Stevie Ray is going to be... Yes, we're not going to have it as a title match, thank you. Ready for a buff double champion, yep. And then the two matches here are potential duds. But we've got the world title contract signing to start the show. 92 minutes of Unleashed. Ready, let's go. 6,341 at the sort of Coliseum. And we start with a contract signing where Mero and Sable, along with Haku and Sherry, all sign the contract for King of Combat and their world title match. Mero welcomes a challenge despite Haku and his actions over recent weeks. Still looking forward to the fight to prove he's the best. Haku is bigger, stronger and better than the champion. Winning the title is just a formality for the leader of the Throne of Savagery. Sable looked lost, struggled when going off script. Haku was underwhelming, but Mero and Sherry were very good. So there we go. 64, strong start, hope for better. Kind of wish we'd got a Raven or promo in here at some point, or maybe just Mero on his own, because that would have definitely helped. But never mind, we move on. Opening contest, a little bit of a dud. Southern Rockers and the Fantastics, none of them are over enough now, and nobody cares about them, which is a shame. But the victory for Rex King over Jackie Fulton in the opener gets a 38. Little bit disappointing. Hopefully the next one isn't the same. It is 39. I thought Flamante Turbo's momentum was enough. Clearly not. 39 though. Okay. Slow start to the show. Marcus Bagwell, poor when trying to improvise his title. This show's going down to... It's going to the dogs. Bagwell declares that the SPW is now ready for a buff double champion. He's already an excellent TV champion, and he's going to win the King of Combat and then the world title, and he'll look great doing it because he's buff, he's the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough. 53. They probably can't get enough. Move to something better. Now, he does do better in the ring. He puts in a great performance and gets victory over Stevie Ray with a diving close. Now, Stevie's definitely suffered at the departure of Booker T, which is a shame. But they were kind of floundering anyway a little bit, so we'd only just started pushing Booker in terms of a singles push anyway. So Stevie was probably going to be in this situation regardless. 69, though, is a very nice match rating, and we move on to a very poor Joe Kazana promo. Above average Joe doesn't know who Tatsumi Fujinami is, but he can guarantee that he's better than him. Kazana is above average talent, and when he when he wins the King of Combat, the whole world will know it. Apart from when he cuts a promo like that. 41, disappointing. In the ring, though, excellent stuff. Joe Kazana is unsuccessful when facing Fujinami, of course, because he's better than him. Gets a 70, though, the match. So that brings things up nicely. Crowd's still a little bit unclear as to what's going on tonight. So am I. But a very good, strong. That probably wouldn't have been good enough as the main event. So hopefully the 8-man tag is. But we'll see. It gets a 73, so it's a little bit disappointing. But RVD gets the victory over Van Hammer. So Van Dam, Raven, Kid, and Christian Cage face Andre, Funk, Van Hammer, and Perry Saturn in an 8-man tag. Everyone puts in pretty solid performances, apart from Andre, as you'd expect. Van Hammer was down there as well. Okay, half of them put in good performances. 73 is okay. And then we had an underwhelming... this hasn't worked, is it? A 64 for the big 10-man brawl. We've got Andre, Christian, Bagwell, Saturn, Raven, RVD, Fujinami, Funk, Kid, Van Hammer, all having a massive brawl. All hell breaks loose. Massive brawl to close the show. Nobody gets a lasting advantage. We'll roll on to King of Combat tomorrow night, and it gets a 64, which is okay. We're going to lose a bit of popularity in 2 regions. Yep, 66 again overall, 27 popularity boosts. Yeah, not great. Hopefully King of Combat will be better. Finance-wise, good solid takings. Yep, let's look at the popularity. Down to 70 in the southeast, staying at 67 in the tri-state. Still getting popularity increases elsewhere, though, so you can't complain too much. We're just going to sort of fluctuate around about the 70 mark, I think, in the southeast, so it's just going to carry on doing that. I have looked. I think we need to be 45 or something like that in 4 regions, or 50 in 4 regions in the UK to get onto ITV, for example. So there's a while to go there yet. We're up to 22 in the Mexican regions as well, by the way, so that's good to see. I think we need to get to 40 there, I think I've mentioned. So we're just going to keep ticking along as we are going in terms of broadcasting and seeing how we can continue to improve our size and our promotion. I think we're now the 5th biggest in the world, which is ridiculous given that we started last. Now that's something to look at. I am actually going to look at the product now. I did say earlier we were going to look at the product, and I forgot to do so after the last TV taping. So I'll have a quick flash up of that now, show you a few things. We might want to start looking at changing the product because we are in the late 90s and still doing a classic balanced product. So it's kind of a little bit outdated, but it's working okay for us so far. I don't want to change things up too much. But there we go. Law, yeah, okay. Raven doesn't like Negro Azteca. I mean, did Negro Azteca even wrestle last night? Probably not. Another 1.8 million watched Unleashed. I think 2 million watched the taped episode from the last taping. So product-wise, here we go. Classic Balanced is where we are. Men only still. Main event spotlight. Consistent angle focus. So maybe we should make that a little bit tighter focus for the angles, maybe. Maybe that's something we need to work on. I think that, so hang on, let's see about tight focus. Is that going to bring something up? Angle focus. Tight focus is calculated 90% of the highest angle. Regular 70% highest 20. Yeah, so it's okay. High. I'm tempted to just go with a tight focus, to be honest. I know it makes a lot of the other parts of the show redundant, but it'll help, I think. Yeah, let's go with that. I think we've saved it. We've saved it, yeah. We'll see how that changes. We're still on, in fact, I'm not going to change the product itself, actually, because we're still on trend in everywhere, basically, apart from the US. So we kind of just go with it. Sex appeal doesn't really work, which is fine, I guess. I mean, we've got Sable, so it could be good to get some sex appeal angles going, but whatever. And managers, yes, we'll have managers now. Make that change. I think we have got a couple of managers in. Let's just quickly look at some popularity whilst we are here. I've got none. Do we want to just quickly flash? So Angel Azteca's now getting into the 20s and 30s, still really over in Mexico as well. We've been using him in tag team matches with Mark Mero in Mexico, which has been excellent. Kane's no longer over. Need to do something with Kane. Need to do something more with Goldberg as well. Goldberg's up to 37 now in the US. We need to get another couple of victories for him to build some momentum. Anyone worth pulling out? Christian's still in the mid-50s, which is good. None of the rest of the junior guys are really getting there. Flante Turbo's now up to 21. His momentum's not good enough, though, at the moment. Yeah, as we mentioned, Paul White's at 22. Haku's now up to 61. So we increased that over the last few weeks to build him up to Mero's level. Not quite Mero's level, but getting there. I want to see how Kakina's doing. So Jeff Hardy's still in the 40s. Is Joe Kazana doing anywhere better than when he left us? I think he's pulled it back at least. So he was 28, 31, 31. He's not quite at the level he was when he left us. But we are getting himself up there a little bit better. Yokozuna is increasing his popularity as we go. Still steadily improving as we go through it, things, so you can't really complain there. He's getting more and more over as we move through. Lance Storm still can't get him over. Mero is in the low 70s, excellent job. Matt Hardy's lagging behind Jeff a little bit still because of that junior title reign. Perry Saturn's just sort of plateaued. Raven's in the high 60s, low 70s. Same can be said for Van Dam. Sable's just slowly ticking up her popularity for the last few months just by being next to Mero. Samu is still slightly more over than Haku, so whether Haku's the leader or not is debatable. He's also probably better in ring with him, but yeah, okay, that's just what you get. Sherry's got some good popularity, and is there anyone else to mention as we get further down the roster? Steven Regal, we still can't get him over. I mean, his momentum's up a little bit. It's still cooled, but still. And that is kind of that. Essentially, Fujinami's still in the 60s. Funk's still in the 60s. Not age-wise, popularity-wise. Kid, yeah. There's not much else to show you, really, in terms of popularity levels. Van Hammer's in the 50s as well. But, right, that is where we sit. We've got 7 days until the King of Combat Battle Royal, and we're going to actually make sure that we put it on the line in the match, because last year we forgot to. So we had to do an angle afterwards that crowned Terry Funk as champion of the King of Combat. And now if we just order by size, company-wise, we're here, look. We're here. Hello. We're 5th. We're only behind CMLL, New Japan, WCW, and the WWF, which is unsurprising because they're all big. Actually, WCW is not big yet, but it should be soon. They're out of their cooling down phase. They've dropped some. They dropped down and then went back up again, but they hadn't got out of their cooling off phase, and now they've dropped back down again. Well done, Bradshaw. Well done. Doing a great job. How big are the WWF, by the way? Absolutely massive. Okay. What about New Japan? Jesus Christ. 98 across the board, apart from Shikoku. That's ridiculous. That's not sustainable long term, is it? Surely. In fact, how on earth? How? That is just so ridiculous. How good are their shows? Like, show history. That's 87. Like, they're not. The shows aren't even that good. Okay, that one's good. When they're not touring, they're just general main shows are cracking. Look at that. Like, I mean, some of them are not lined up properly, but you know, it's going to happen at some point. Yeah. Okay. Great. And then CMLL are ridiculous as well. 88. We're getting there. We are. We're getting there. Who's the closest to us in the rest of the US now? GWF? I mean, we're getting much bigger than them. We're much bigger than them across the rest of the world as well. But we are getting to the point where we are just generally bigger than them everywhere. So they're 56, 55 across the board. We're pretty much there or thereabouts in every region now. It's only Hawaii we are, and Puerto Rico where we are lower than really. And yeah, okay, right. We are going to go forward to the King of Combat and see what we can do with the Battle Royal. And then it's beyond towards the end of the year, and probably in the next episode. But we'll go do King of Combat now. The Battle Royal, which will crown a new #1 contender. See you in a second. Okay, we are ready to go with King of Combat, but before we get to the show, we're going to have a quick look at finances. We don't really do this as much as we used to, but we made a massive $1 million profit once again in October, hampered slightly by the fact that Collision Course had a lower attendance than it should have done because we just didn't have a big enough arena, apparently. With that in mind, we aren't going to invest in our own arena yet, but I just wanted to see what the cost was if we were to do like 25,000. It's just I'm not surprised that it's that much actually. You could probably get $1 million basically to what if we do like 3,250. So why is that so much more? Oh. Wow, that jumps up. As soon as you get over 30,000, you add an extra $1 million on. So 30,000 is kind of the limit on that. But that's just under $1 million to do that. So we might potentially do that. But what we might do also is, I mean, let's just hold the show in the Tri-State. See what arenas we've got in the Tri-State. Just have a look. See, have a look around. If we've got bigger arenas in any other region. But we're ready to go for King of Combat, obviously, tonight. So let's just do it. We'll go from the start of the show. We don't normally do the pre-show bit on camera much anymore. I'm not going to give people the night off tonight. I normally do, but we're not going to tonight. This is the bit we need to look at. So, 23,614... What's this? Go on, clear off. 23,649 fans expected in the southeast. So, if we move this up to not 51, blooming heck. There, just above 20,000. What have we got? So we've got the Ice Palace at 20,000, the Pyramid at 20,000, and the Thompson Bowling Arena at 21,678. So what about in the Tri-State? We could get 22,347, and we could do that at the Atlantic City Convention Hall. The Carrier Dome's even bigger. So I'm tempted to go to New Jersey. Let's just go and have the King of Combat at New Jersey. Let's do that. Why not? We've not been in the Tri-State since February of 1995, which was just before we got a TV deal. And back then, we had 137 people in attendance. It's a bit of a step up. Let's do it. Let's go to the Atlantic City Convention Hall for King of Combat. We're starting to tour around a little bit more. Look at that. Finalise the... yeah, let's make sure we check the broadcasters. So we want to be on Comcast, Headline Sports, and Eurosport. A&E, we will not be. That deal expires soon, actually, which is good. And we've still got 18 episodes remaining, which is just ridiculous. But we will continue to be on that selection of broadcasters. Pre-show incident. Oh, here we go. Strike has disrupted the local transport infrastructure and caused significant delays. Have no impact on final attendance, but does mean we won't have as much time as normal to hold the regular booking meeting. So creative energy has been reduced. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. So we've only got 59 creative energy. Just me and Raven in attendance tonight, which is a shame. Because we've had to move it from Sunday to Saturday, so we can have Coquina Maximus on the show, who's one of our tag team champions. Both Dutch Mantel and, to a lesser extent, Jerry Lawler are not here. So it means we've got Don Callis on commentary with Mauro Ranello again. And we might have to look at our booking team to see if we can add any more people on. So how much have we got? 59. Should we just do a create? Let's buy a create finish, see what we can do there. RVD victory, big gamble. Fine, okay, we'll look at what we do there. We have got a couple of other creative finishes in the bag as well, but we will get to those when we need to get to them. Locker room incidents. Joey Maggs and Van Hammer getting into a row. Tim Horner and Brian Lawler getting into a row. Rhino's come with a creative finish. Thanks, Rhino. Probably not really pushing you at the moment, but okay. And that's it. Locker room. We don't need to do anything there. Excellent. Right, let's go into the show. And we have got a main event of the King of... We're going to have the King of Combat as the main event, by the way. So just to let you know, that will be closing the show. And also, where's the match I'm looking for? That one. Malt Mero and Haku is our co-main event. We've not got many promos for people before the Battle Royal, but we've got a lot of matches going on anyway tonight, so we'll get to them. We're going to start the show with a Mark Mero promo, by the way. Gets off to a good, solid start. I put the angle in first, and I meant to put that match in first. So let's just come out of here, make sure we do that in the right order, because I will forget otherwise. And then we've got, let's see, where we're going next. We're going to start the show, I think, with the Goldberg little exchange. So you can see he's in 2 matches tonight. So we'll get to that. Right, we're going to have Angeles Teca defending the junior title there. We've got Joe Kazana and some jobbers. Killer Bees in action as well. And then we're going to go with a little bit of... Yeah, okay, someone's unhappy about Goldberg winning. Great, never mind. But he's getting a push. You won't be as big as him. What have we forgot to do? Okay, nothing. Right, we could do some pre-show matches. Should we do some pre-show matches? Let's do a couple of pre-show matches. Let's just have a first four pre-show match for people who are not on the card. How do we want to do this? Let's just go with... This can be the Jobber team. Steve Simpson, Sean Simpson, and then the Mortons as well. And then on the heel side, who do we want to get a victory on the heel side? We get Rhino a victory. Don Callis will not be wrestling because he will not be wrestling. The Sheep Herders can have a win. And let's just shove Kane in there as well. Why not? Pre-show. Give Rhino the victory. There. Okay. Wonderful. I think we probably need to script it as well, actually. Yes, we do. Right, that's 14 minutes of the pre-show. Let's just go with that. We've got a pre-show match. Why not? Should we have another one? Let's have another one. Just do a couple of 8-man tags as pre-shows. Why ever not? Let's have a look at the heel side. Some juniors. Let's just shove a load of guys in here. And what about on the face side? We will do the same. Turbo can get a match. Sagrada, Super Crazy, and Super Delphine. There we go. We just have an 8-man lucha match. Atomicos. We'll go lucha Atomicos. And give the victory to Flamante Turbo. Why not? Let's go. Excellent. Right. just go into the show. Let's just go into the show, right? We have got 22,327 in the Atlantic City Convention Hall. A bit of a step up from the last time we were here. And in the pre-show match, first pre-show match for Monte Turbo, as you've just seen, we'll get the victory for his four-man team against the four-man team of the Rudos. And he gets a 45 because they don't care because it's a pre-show. Excellent. Crowd, not really bothered. Moving on a little bit, well, it's exactly the same. The Mortons and the Simpsons lost to Rhino, Kane and the Sheepherders in our second pre-show match. 43, that's whatever, it's the pre-show. Start things out properly with Mark Merrow talking about all of the royal imagery on display tonight. I think we kind of alluded to this on the Unleashed taping, but we've got the King of Combat and we've got the Throne of Savagery, but he can only see one world champion, and that won't be changing by the end of the night. Excellent promo to get us started. 78 rating for Mr. Merrow, and we move forward to our first in-ring action, which sees Bill Goldberg defeating Len Denton and only getting a 32 out of it, but still cool the crowd a little bit. Why not? Jackhammer, domination, Goldberg, victory. He asks who's next and gets an immediate response. Tony Anthony appears and says he's going to do what his tag team partner couldn't. So, okay, let's do it again right now. 65 for the angle. Another Goldberg victory. I mean, of course. And this one only gets a 31 as well. So, not quite sure why. Apparently, I don't get it. He's got a squash master, so he's doing a 5-minute squash. Why is it not working out well? Segment rating was penalised due to negative. Okay, so I think it's because we've done domination. Now, I think I realised this last time and didn't change it. So we're just going to stop putting the dominate note on now. Goldberg should be pretty over. So, I mean, he was already 37 before these two, 37 popularity, before the two victories in the angle. So hopefully he will be even higher. We'll stop dominating now and see if that helps things out a little bit. Moving forward, the Killer Bees get a victory against Jim Neidhart and Todd Champion. Only gets a 53, but you know, it's kind of what you expect with the people involved. Few veterans. B. Brian Blair with a 57 is the star performer of the match, and we'll just go on from there. Just a tag team match, get some momentum going for the Killer Bees, so they can lose again to the Throne of Savagery, obviously. We move forward to our six-man as Joe Kazana, Steven Regal, and Taka Michinoku, the Super Dream Team, defeat Joey Maggs and the Southern Rockers. Joey Maggs getting pinned by Mr. Kazana. Above average Joe, another pay-per-view victory for him. 56 is a good segment rating. In terms of in-ring performance, Steven Regal only got 59 this time, but he was still the best performer of the bunch. The undercard tonight is not the bit that's important, it's the main events that are important. We'll get to them when we get to them. Angel Azteca then defended his junior championship against Brian Lawler and Bobby Fulton. Both Lawler and Fulton shat the bed. Shat the bed is what I'm trying to say. They crapped it. They didn't do very well, and Angel Azteca got the victory over Bobby Fulton to make his second defense of the junior title. 58 for his in-ring performance. Nobody else out in the mid-30s. 50 overall is okay. Hopefully this will give him a little bit of a popularity boost as well. But his dance partners tonight were not very good at dancing. They stepped on each other's feet, for that analogy. This is a little bit disappointing as well, but the Throne of Savagery are looking to add the world title to their collection tonight, as Haku has his sights firmly set on Mark Merrow. Samu and Kokina have got an easy defense against the Hardy Brothers up next, and it's going to be more gold for the Throne of Savagery. We scripted this one, and it probably hampered Sherry a bit. We got rid of the penalty for Haku. So, swings and roundabouts, I guess. 53 is okay for this mid-card heel stable who are being pushed into the main event a little bit tonight. Moving forward to the tag match, and that's okay. Only a 62, though, because Matt Hardy gets a whiplash neck strain, and Jeff Hardy's off his game. So, never mind. Kokina gets the victory once again with a belly-to-belly suplex. Colossal Tribe make their fourth defense of the titles. Could have been better. Hampered by injury and off-gameness, and Kokina still struggling a little bit in the US with his in-ring performance. Needs that popularity to keep growing, to keep getting his performances a little bit better. 62, though, is good enough for where we are in the card. Crowd are white hot. Unfortunately, Matt Hardy's going to be injured a little bit, which is not great. We then go straight into our second co-main event, as Mark Merrow and Haku go to war for the world title. Haku's putting a good performance here at 57. Merrow an even better one at 76. Sherry did some good work at ringside, and it is Mark Merrow with a Marvelocity who gets the job done and retains his world title. 77 for the match for the segment rating overall. An excellent job from Mero to defend the title against the phenomenally scary-looking Haku. Job done, though. 77 for that. And then we go into our main event. A little bit disappointing. The creative finish was a failure as well. I thought stacking this with so much main event talent would increase. I put them the wrong way around, clearly, but it's only got a 71. This is disappointing. Raven, though, wins the King of Combat Battle Royal. Perry Saturn out first, then Van Hammer, then TV champ Marcus Bagwell, Christian Cage, Terry Funk, the Giant, Andre the Giant, then the Kid, then Tatsumi Fujinami, and finally RVD gets eliminated as Raven is the new King of Combat winner. He's got his trophy, and it's only a 71, which is a little bit disappointing. It's going to hamper the overall rating of the show a little bit. But afterwards, we get an 89 as Raven revels in his victory, collects his trophy, and calls out Mark Mero. Raven has accomplished everything, and he can't wait to take his title back from Mero whenever he likes. Mero tells Raven, not Maven, that's some other guy, that he's done enough talking. If he wants to go right now, let's have a world title match immediately. Raven smirks and tells Mero that that match will only happen on his terms and not when Mero wants it. We close the show with a stare down between Champion and the new King. 89 for the segment, closes us out in style. We got a 70 overall, which is just not quite good enough to give us a boost in those two regions of Tri-State and Southeast. Obviously, Northern England as well doesn't get a boost there because of the Eurosport coverage, but 29 increased popularities is good enough for me. Let's have a look. Let's not worry too much anything here. Mark Mero. We give Haku some praise as well because he did a good job. If we can remember how to work the keyboard. There. Right. Make speech. Wonderful. Yep. Excellent. Excellent. Great. Injury review. Matt Hardy's only out for 7 days and he will just miss the TV taping. Can be worked through, but we're just going to give him a week off. That's fine. Finance-wise, we've made a massive $1 million profit once again on the show. Ticket sales at 446, possibly slightly lower than they would have been in the Southeast, but still, really good job there. Massive profit. 1.5 million on the show overall. Popularity-wise, no changes to Southeast and Tri-State or Northern England, as mentioned. Up to 9s across the board in Europe. The lower regions in the UK and Ireland are now to 14, 15 range. Everywhere else ticking up nicely across the board. We're into the 30s everywhere now in Canada. Oh, no, sorry, I say that again. The Maritimes, still at 26. Got to look on all of the regions before making broad statements like that. But, generally speaking, excellent. Not doing a media scrum. Why would we do a media scrum? They are toxic. They will only cause issues, not actually resolve anything. But that's the King of Combat. We've done a good little stint through November. Into November through October, as we now get to the final run-in towards the end of the year, which will be next episode, because I think we've been talking for long enough today. We're probably at nearly an hour into the episode, so we'll leave it at this point here. But we will do a little bit of a recap at the end when we get through the loading screens. Now, obviously, loading screens taking ages now because we're so long into the save game. But there we go. Let's have a look. Comcast deal is expiring in 3 episodes. We will renew that one soon. Matt Hardy's injured. Hashimoto's gone to ECW for one night. Pay-per-view buys are over 600,000. Viewing figures nearly 1 million overall is pretty good. Let's just have a quick look at our top 100 events. Obviously, it's not quite up there with some of our best, even on a this year basis. It probably doesn't even break the top 10. No, not even close. Not even close. Where even is it? We've got such good shows this year. It sits at 31st. That shows you how much of a good show we've been having recently. Matches-wise, nothing in the close to the top there. Obviously, the Collision Course main event. I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but it's the second best match in our history. Clear match of the year so far. I say clear, 2 points better than the Raven RVD 2 out of 3 falls. Attendance-wise, it is the most attended, which is great, 22,000. Pay-per-view buys not quite up to the same level as Collision Course, but just about up there. Rating, obviously we mentioned we've had quite a lot of good ratings recently. Over 2 million viewers for Unleashed on TV. A taped episode as well. In terms of pay-per-view, though, it's not quite broke 1 million viewers, just like Collision Course did, so it's just under here. So not quite the best pay-per-view yet. But generally speaking, everything is going well. Championship-wise, Ravens just won the King of Combat. Nothing else has changed, I don't think, throughout the rest of the episode. Angelis Tekka is still going on strong. Mero's still strong. Tag champs are still where they are. TV title wasn't defended at all, I don't think. No, not defended since Collision Course. So, we go forward. We've got, if we look at our quick events here, some Unleashed taping and then Clash of the Titans on the 6th of December. We've got 1 lot, 2 lot, and we need to change Unleashed to take 3 episodes here, so we don't have a TV taping the night before the pay-per-view. So that's that. That's where we stand. We might need to move the pay-per-views actually, because we've got Clash. We might move them to Friday nights to follow straight after Unleashed. To be honest, I think that might be something we look to do going forward. So I'll look at doing that, and we'll care about it in the next episode. I've done it, you'll see it. But thanks very much for watching. We have got lots more to come here on the channel and in this save, as well as we continue to build our promotion up. We're 5th in the world now, only 4 more promotions to overtake, which will take a long time. But we are determined to get there eventually. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Check out the rest of the videos on the playlist. Check out the WCW 2000 playlist as well. Check out Patreon if you want to check out Patreon. Thanks to everyone who is a member over on Patreon. You all are fantastic. Thank you for supporting the channel. Your names will be on screen very shortly. And that's that. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you on the next episode.